No federal law expressly prohibited lynching. None.
Racial acts of terror still occur in our nation.
You are the assistant director of FBI Cyber. I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is.
You know, I don't think we're ever going to be able to determine what the right balance is.
President Biden makes murder super illegal, especially in particular instances that are already illegal. Matt Gaetz asked the FBI where Hunter Biden's laptop is. Their answer was, oh. Fauci is back in the news, Ukrainian updates, all of that and more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live starts, wait for it, right now.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
Live from a dingy bunker completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. Thanks so much for tuning into Daily Caller Live on today. It is March 30th, the year of our Lord 2022. New you in 22. That's the last day I'm going to say this. If you haven't got your new you on in 22, you got to get started on that. A lot of great stuff for you coming up today. Joe Biden signed a bill making something illegal that is already illegal. Double illegal, if you will. But first, I want to talk about really brief, quick Ukrainian update. We've been doing this again on the policy side, not necessarily showing all the bombs and all that sort of stuff, but trying to figure out what's going on in the actual diplomatic side area of the Ukrainian-Russian altercation, the attack of Russia on Ukraine. Despite Russia's announcements that they will pull back forces from near Ukraine's capital in the northern city of Cherniv. Explosions were heard in Kyiv on Wednesday morning. So there, if you weren't familiar or paying attention yesterday, Russia and Ukraine were meeting in Istanbul, Turkey, to try and discuss some sort of peace talks. A lot of people were very skeptical on whether or not those peace talks were actually peace talks and not just a distraction for Vladimir Putin to regroup his very dilapidated military and then go back in. The Russians said, hey, we're going to let up a little bit on Kyiv. They did not, apparently, according to a lot of different people. The governor of Donetsk Oblast, the area in Ukraine, said on Wednesday that Russian forces were shelling several towns and cities on the border that separates Ukraine and Russian-controlled areas in that region. More than 4 million people have fled Ukraine since the start of the war, according to the United Nations. Not really much more going on there. If anything, it's still terrible. Putin is still a crazy person. That's about that. So let me get to this. This is, I think, one of the big stories that people are going to be seeing commonly around the mainstream media sphere, your alphabet networks, your cable news shows, your Joy Reid shows, your Rachel Maddow, MSNBC. They're going to be hot to trot about this. It is a big, fat, freaking nothing burger. Yesterday, Joe Biden signed a bill into law that made lynching illegal. Hold on. Was murder legal until yesterday? This is news to me. But yeah, Joe Biden signed a bill yesterday saying that lynching is now illegal. Lynching is a buzzword for your people that are generally not paying attention to get all excited about. Finally, somebody made lynching illegal. It's been illegal for a very long time. I want to play this clip from Joe Biden yesterday giving a speech when he signed the bill in the Rose Garden. Actually, let me give you some context here. I believe this is from CNN. No, I think this is from Fox News. President Joe Biden signed a bill into law on Tuesday making lynching a federal hate crime. It's already illegal. Murder is already illegal here in this country. Acknowledging how racial violence has left a lasting scar on a nation and asserting that these crimes are not a relic of a bygone era. Kamala Harris said something about this. We'll tackle that in just a quick second when we play that clip. At a White House Rose Garden signing ceremony, the president didn't hold back in describing the history of racial violence experienced by Black Americans and its continued impact. Do I want to read what this other quote Yeah, no, we're going to play this clip from the President of the United States. If you haven't already, there's a couple thousand of you watching on Facebook, probably specifically. That's where most people watch. Click the little like button, click the little share button. Really, really would appreciate you doing so. Helps us out a lot, gets to more people, helps us continue what we're doing. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, I would appreciate that. Here's this clip from Joe Biden yesterday talking about making something illegal that's already illegal. Check this out.
It was over 100 years ago in 1900. North Carolina Representative George Henry White, the son of a slave, the only black lawmaker in Congress at the time, who first introduced legislation to make lynching a federal crime. Hundreds of similar bills have failed to pass. Over the years, several federal hate crime laws were enacted, including one I signed last year to combat COVID-19 hate crimes. But no federal law expressly prohibited lynching. None. Until today.
Okay, so if I haven't made this clear already, this is definitely a political stunt. Lynching, or let me read you the definition of what lynching is from Webster's dictionary. To put to death as by hanging by mob action without approval or permission. That's already illegal. I don't know why we need another law. Look, I understand the symbolism behind it, but we have to understand that this is just a political ploy to get more people who are already on his side even more on his side. Kamala Harris said some other interesting things where she takes it a step further in her little speech. Kamala Harris did form coherent thoughts throughout the entire speech, didn't go off rambling about the significance of the passage of time, which is in fact the significance of the passage of time, and in doing so reflected on the significance of the passage of time. Listen to the Vice President of the United States, who, I don't know, maybe will be the president someday if the old man can't make it through the next 3 years, which seems likely. I don't know. Anyways, listen to Miss Kamala.
These crimes as such. Lynching is not a relic of the past.
Oh.
Racial acts of terror still occur in our nation.
Huh.
And when they do, we must all have the courage to name them and hold the perpetrators to account.
So she said the thing that I didn't want to read from Joe Biden's little spiel about this, that racial attacks still exist in our country. Now, I'm not going to say that there don't exist. There's always going to be racism somewhere. It is at a minimal amount right now in the United States that it has been throughout the entire history of the freaking world. Racism does exist, but I would wish the vice president would have thrown the caveat in there saying when she's, what was the exact term that she used? Racial terror still exists in this country, but to a significantly less amount than it did 60 years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago. But the vice president did not do that. She basically alluded to the fact that, no, it's still just as bad. We haven't made any progress in terms of blending racial cultures together. But she didn't say that because, of course, she wouldn't. What else would I wanted to get in here? There's a couple different things on that. Maybe we want to move on because I think this is fun. This one, look, if you haven't already, I know when I ask people to click the little like button and the little share button, a lot of you don't do it, and that's fine. We can still be friends. But this one, you definitely should, because I feel like people, this is one of these like big stories that's going to continue to like be in the culture for the next 10 years probably. And all of these like little inklings of information or facts or uncovered truth are going to be continually seeping out throughout the next several years. And that story is the Hunter Biden laptop. And I feel like your friends should see this. So click the little like button. Again, really, really appreciate you doing so. The little share button would really, really appreciate you doing that. It doesn't cost you anything. But people need to see about Hunter Biden's laptop. Matt Gaetz yesterday was on a committee questioning the cyber head of the FBI. He asked him, I'm not going to steal his thunder. Let's listen to the congressman question the main guy who would know about Hunter Biden's laptop that definitely is real. I think at this point, 2 years in, we all now know that the laptop is definitely real. The New York Times has authenticated a bunch of the emails. The New York Times, not Breitbart or OAN. Not that there's anything wrong with those news organizations, but they have a particular way of looking at the world. The New York freaking Times said, "Oh yeah, this is definitely real." Watch Matt Gaetz and the FBI cyber guy.
So where is it?
Where's what?
The laptop.
Sir, I'm not here to talk about the laptop. I'm here to talk about the FBI cyber program.
You are the assistant director of FBI cyber. I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is. Where is it?
Sir, I don't know that answer.
That is astonishing to me. Has FBI cyber assessed whether or not Hunter Biden's laptop could be a point of vulnerability, allowing America's enemies to hurt our country?
Sir, the FBI cyber program is based off of what's codified in Title 18, Title 18, Section 1030, a code which talks about computer intrusions, right, using nefarious intent network.
Well, you've talked about passwords here. I mean, Hunter Biden's password on his laptop was Hunter02. He drops it off at a repair store. I'm holding the receipt from Max Computer Repair, where in December 2019, they turned over this laptop to the FBI, and what now you're telling me right here is that as the assistant director of FBI cyber, you don't know where this is after it was turned over to you 3 years ago.
Yes, sir, that's an accurate statement.
Whoops. Matt Gaetz, you have no idea, the assistant director of cyber at the FBI, you don't know where Hunter Biden's laptop is. I don't know if that guy knows, but Hunter Biden's laptop has been in the news for the last couple months. And so there's a big Daily Mail piece that came out about Hunter Biden's laptop over the weekend. I've been hesitant to kind of go through it because I'm still trying to figure out how accurate it is. It kind of plays into the whole Ukrainian biolabs. If you've been watching this show the last couple weeks, I haven't really taken a big not stance. I haven't really paid too much attention to that. Reason being, and I've said this many times to people outside of this particular engagement, I don't need any more evidence to know that the United States should not get militarily involved in Ukraine, probably not have boots on the ground, probably not do much. It's unfortunate. It's sad what's going on, but is it our place to go be militarily involved? I don't think so. There's been a lot of other people that have been trying to use other arguments, and that's fine. Tucker's one of them. He talks about biolabs in Ukraine being funded by the United States and Hunter Biden and all that sort of stuff. Not saying he's right, not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying, for me, I don't need more arguments to say why we shouldn't go into Ukraine and fight the Russians. The fact that we are fighting the Russians in Ukraine is enough of an argument for me to say, we don't need that. But anyways, there's been a lot of people that have been talking about the Russian biolabs in Ukraine. An article from the Daily Mail with newly released Hunter Biden emails is kind of playing into that storyline. The Russian government held a press conference on Thursday claiming that Hunter Biden helped finance a U.S. military bioresearch lab program in Ukraine. Again, this is just reporting from the Daily Mail. I'm still trying to sift this out. I've been trying to get somebody who's like really, really in on this to come talk about it. But yeah, I'm just reading you an article from the Daily Mail. However, the allegations were branded as brazen propaganda ploy to justify Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine and sow discord in the United States. That is the obvious statement. If it's coming out from Russian state media, you can't really trust it at all. It's not even take it with a grain of salt. No, you just can't trust it. But emails and correspondence obtained by DailyMail.com from Hunter's abandoned laptop show the claims may very well be true. The emails show Hunter helped secure millions of dollars of funding for Metabiota, a Department of Defense contractor specializing in research on pandemic-causing diseases. He also introduced Metabiota to an allegedly corrupt Ukrainian gas firm, Burisma. We all know about Burisma. Hunter Biden was getting like 50 grand a month from that Ukrainian oil company. The president's son and his colleagues invested $500,000 in Metabiota, though through their firm, Rosemont Seneca Technology Partners. Emails from Hunter's abandoned laptop show that he helped, secure millions of dollars in funding for this lab through his connections, and helped secure funding for the Ukrainian gas firm. That's that. We're going to leave that there. Again, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this particular topic because there's a lot of rabbit holes I've got to dive down to fully understand and grasp all of the different components with Ukrainian biolabs and Russia and Hunter Biden and how they all correlate. I'm not saying anybody's right, not saying anybody's wrong. I'd rather get somebody better on here to talk about than me. But I did think the way that the FBI technology assistant director did not know where Hunter Biden's laptop was. Speaking of people in the government who are completely inept and incompetent, Mr. Fauci is back in the news full time. Dr. Fauci was making the rounds the last couple days, doing his thing. Doing the scare tactic, Dr. Fauci. We all need to be scared, cower in fear in your bedrooms, separately, away from people in your family, because who knows, they might have the CCP bat fever. The White House chief medical advisor, why is that still his title? Dr. Anthony Fauci on Sunday warned about the potential for the reinstatement of COVID-19 restrictions in the United States. In an interview on the BBC's Sunday morning show, Fauci and the U.S. residents, Fauci said U.S. residents need to be prepared for the possibility of restrictions being put back in place. Are you prepared? I'm totally prepared. I am 100% prepared for restrictions to go back in place. I have my beekeeper suit. I've got a face shield in front of that beekeeper suit. And then over the beekeeper suit is a hazmat suit to make sure that I'm 100% totally protected from the COVID-19 Chinese bat fever. An interviewer said, presenter Sophia Raworth, I gotta learn how to pronounce names better on this show, asked if a new infectious COVID-19 variant could lead to future lockdowns and mask mandates. Dr. Fauci, I've got a clip from him, so don't worry. Stick around for this ridiculous clip from Dr. Fauci. But before that clip, he said, I don't want to use the word lockdowns. Why, Mr. Fauci? Would you not want to use the word lockdowns? That has been a charged element to it, but I believe we must keep our eye on the pattern of what we're seeing with infections, he said, noting that the U.S. is currently moving toward normalcy. Cool. Then the interviewer asked this question, which I thought was pretty dang interesting, of how Dr. Fauci is spinning his words, much like a lot of the people that tend to agree with his point of view of the world. Watch this.
I'm interested in your reluctance to use the word lockdown. Do you think 2 years on that they were worth it, or were they too severe?
You know, I don't think we're ever going to be able to determine what the right balance is. I think the restrictions, if you want to use that word, which I tend to shy away from, lockdown, there's certainly prevented a lot of infections, prevented a lot of hospitalizations, and prevented a lot of deaths. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, when you do have that kind of restriction.
Hold on, I'm going to pause right there. If you've been with us for a while, we brought up that Johns Hopkins reports that basically said everything he said was wrong. Johns Hopkins says, wait a minute, no. The lockdowns prevented 0.2% of deaths. 0.2. That's not a big number. Dr. Fauci just said, what did he just say?
Prevented a lot of hospitalizations and prevented a lot of deaths.
Yeah, none of that's true. Let's continue on with the Faucinator.
There's no doubt about that. Obviously, when you do have that kind of restriction on society, there are unintended negative consequences, particularly in children who are not allowed to go to school, in the psychological and mental health aspects it has on children.
Wow! What have we been saying for freaking years? Continue to prove my point, Mr. Fauci.
In the economic stress that it puts on society in general, on individual families, obviously those are negative consequences that are unintended.
You big dumb. 0.2% of people affected. Somebody, hold on, in the comments section, where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Rochelle says, why do you have a Biden shirt? This is Joe Biden's catchphrase. What? Looking off into the distance as he's very confused all of the time. That's why I have it on, because it's hilarious. You can buy them in my Instagram shop if you feel so inclined. I think they're funny. All I get when I wear this shirt around town is high fives and some dirty looks, but mostly high fives. Anyways, back to Dr. Fauci saying that, well, lockdowns, there's no arguing that lockdowns really made a difference. That's not true at all, actually, Dr. Fauci. Johns Hopkins, not a right-leaning news organization, no, a university that studies medicine and really wants to be right about things, said, yeah, 0.2% of deaths were actually saved. So there's that. Dr. Fauci being fully back. Let me see if there's anything else I want to get to today. It doesn't look like it. So I've been trying this thing. If you're watching, I'm not sure where you're watching. You might be watching on the Daily Caller page. You might be watching on the YouTube page. You might be watching on. I've been trying this thing because this is a pretty well put together. Well, not to give myself credit. We put together this show every morning, get clips and all that sort of stuff, and come on the air and bring you a couple different stories that's going on in the day and try to provide some commentary and some context around what's going on to help people understand a little bit more. This is all great. But in addition to that, on my Facebook page, if you don't follow me already, I'd appreciate a follow on any of your social media platforms. Just type in JOBOB pretty much anywhere. But on my Facebook page and YouTube page, we've been doing extended live stream of consciousness, kind of just going around talking to people and pulling down what's on the internet. That's like an hour and a half. That is zero prepared like this show is. So if you get a chance, shoot me a follow on the Facebook or the Twitter or the YouTube or the Instagram. Just type in, again, JOBOB. You're going to find me. It's not difficult. But also, if you're around later today for the big, long stream, I don't know, stream for about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, just talking about literally anything. Really get to engage with people in the conversation too, because it's a longer form, zero preparedness thing. So if you haven't already, click my, I don't know if you can click it anywhere, but just type in JOBOB on Facebook, follow that page. That's where we do that. That is going to do it for us today. We'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same place, same dingy bunker. We're going to be in the dingy bunker every day this week, which is a huge upgrade from doing this from a hotel room. I really appreciate you sticking around when I have to do that. Thanks so much for watching the entire show, because I know every single one of you have watched the entire show. If you miss any segment, you can rewatch on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, but also you can grab the podcast if you're cleaning your pool, mowing your lawn, doing any of your household chores. You can throw on the bantering from any of the podcast apps that you listen to, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those. Catch it today. Subscribe to the Daily Caller Live show. My name is Jobob. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you tomorrow. God bless America.